my goodness.
Little bumpy.
400 in a second. That's less than the blink of an eye.
The 2015 BMW FIBT World Championships in Winterberg, Germany. Good morning and welcome to a wet and snowy Winterberg. Temperature hovering just above freezing, and it couldn't be a starker contrast to yesterday's women's competition. Well, we're into the final day of the two-man contest, the third and fourth heats to decide the medals, and lots of support for the leader overnight, the reigning world champion, Francesco Friedrich. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, sitting alongside me, John Morgan. And John, this track is tough enough in good weather.
Well, bad weather, deal with a lot of moisture on your goggles and could alter visibility, but the problem, curve zero has been a real problem for the women's bobsledders, not so much for the men, but watch the speeds and the G-forces here. You can see the track up top's not very fast. In fact, this exit of Omega curve into 3, we go uphill. So you can't allow any kind of sled hitting the wall like out of 4, which a lot of women had trouble, some of the men in the first day. Now 5, 6, 7 combination going into the big Kreisel curve, exit of Kreisel, slingshot effect. You really start the motor down here. You can see 60 miles an hour plus into this curve 9, and you accelerate 10, 15 miles an hour in the next 150 meters. Big 10, now the 3-corner combination, 11, 12, 13. And then the most important finish curve, you go uphill here, and just this little 100 meters at the end, you can lose a lot of time.
The track record, the start record, both set by Bert Hefty and Thomas Lampard. The start record dates back to 2008, and the track record to December 2012. Got to say, I think both of those are probably safe today. Well, the first 2 heats on Friday, unusually 48 hours between the heats, were insane. The weather made it a real lottery. But for every loser, there's a winner, John. Uge Salems is one of the winners.
Yeah, but he was good at St. Moritz. He won a silver medal in his first World Cup we ever saw him. Yeah, it wasn't in Sochi, wasn't in Eagles, and here he's just good driving in practice all week long, and he went late, and hey, he's in a medal position after 2 runs. Oscar's Mel Bardis, Thomas Drieskens, his teammate. Well, we expected him to challenge for the gold, but he didn't get off to too good a start. In the second heat, he held on to his difference in time between his Francesco Friedrich, the leader, but he was in 6th or 7th place at the first run. And this guy, though, he just was a rocket ship with the big German crowd urging him on. He did not go to Sochi. He hung out here for the week. And with gusts of wind going when he came down the track in the second run, he still maintained that first run lead, which is quite large for 2 runs.
46 hundredths of a second is the advantage for Francesco Friedrich. Oscar's Melbardis' second run brought him from 7th up to 2nd. And Uge Salems and Yoon Jung-won of Korea both had really strong days. So did the junior world champion, Richard Olsner, who's 6th. But look further down the order. Nick Cunningham of the USA, Nick Polonyato of Canada, and way down, trying to guarantee a 4th run, Justin Cripps 20th, Stephen Holcomb, the double world champion in Lake Placid, trying to guarantee a 2nd heat, and it's by no means guaranteed. They should make it, but John Morgan, they should have made it in the first 2 runs on Friday.
The weather has definitely played a factor in the men's race. The women had 2 beautiful days. Tourism-type blue sky days. The men, a lot of snow on Friday. There's Johannes Lochner. And, you know, it's a weather day for sure.
So now we go in order of their standing after the first 2 heats. 33 sleds, the leader first away. 33rd, Croatia's Drazen Silic will round out the 3rd heat. And then the field will be cut to 20. So when we get down below Justin Cripps and Stephen Holcomb there, then we're looking at go fast or go home. The final day of 2-man bobsleigh World Championship action at Winterberg in Germany. Martin Haven, John Morgan trackside for you, watching these BMW FIBT Worlds. And the man who leads after day one, Francesco Friedrich from Piana near Altenburg, the world champion, gets us underway.
His brakeman, Folston Margus, 7,000-point decathlete. 5:11 start. That's a great start time. The 5:20 that he had in the first day. Wow, that start track is fast up there.
But it also shows how little wind there is compared to the first day.
I see that start record going down. The next guy coming down the track, no Barnes. But this is moving day. This is like the third round of a golf tournament. This is when you really want to position yourself for a podium right now. And if he gets away, Francisco Friedrich gets away here with more than 2/10 lead, he's going to have his handles on the trophy, the Max Hoover trophy.
Now he is already 2 kilometers an hour faster than he was in the snow on Friday, and he was the fastest man in the snow on Friday. Track record 55:42.
But they were a second off of that track record. I can't believe he's going to be a second faster today. He is! Wow! We were talking about, Kristen Wright was telling me the track looks like it's sandpaper. The ice doesn't look good.
Well,
I don't think so.
Said just 2 minutes ago the track records look safe. We almost broke the start record. He's broken a 3-year-old track record.
And the German crowd,
all those orange
pleased.
jackets, they're not the Dutch, they're his fans.
And just perfect lines. He was on the track for the week that everybody else was in Sochi. The Germans put him here.
A little late.
Well, he's going a second half faster than he was the other day. Second half's quite quick.
That's a lot faster. 3-4 kilometers an hour faster down the back. Wow. Now then, that throws down a massive gauntlet for our 2-man and 4-man World Cup champion. He's been the controlling influence in men's bobsledding this season, Oskars Malbardis. He and Dauman Streiskins, they want the start record here, but more importantly, they want to win.
Well, 5:07, if Friedrich just went 5:11, he should be going 5:03, 5:04 here. Another decathlete driving the sled, like Friedrich. Friedrich's a decathlete also.
That's it.
Oh, boy, did he lift that out of that.
Look at Streiskins, there is not an ounce of spare fat on him. His BMI must be sensational. 509.
Very suspect. What happened there? Maybe he lifted the sled too far out, but he's only 200s better than Friedrich. He was 500s, 400s better than Friedrich on the first day. Wow, very surprised at that.
Well, Friedrich and Torsten Mark is feeling no pain this morning.
Boy, were they hyped up.
But Malbardis, look at this, the gap is growing. He started the day 4,600s back. He's half a kilometer an hour down there. Friedrich is 95.3.
Friedrich just blew him away in the top 200 meters of the track.
Half a kilometer an hour down still. The gap's now out to 6,500s.
I don't see anybody else in the rest of the field getting closer. Friedrich is...
He could be 8/10 back. Speed is the same from the Latvian sled as from the German. 7,400s. It's over. Unless Friedrich wrecks it as the final sled on the track, it's over.
Now it's
any other way of judging it.
Now we're talking about silver and bronze. And there's quite a race.
Oh,
Five sleds for the silver and bronze. And I'm surprised what happened to these guys at the start. He lifted the sled way out of the grooves at the start. Down here, the lines look good, but he lost everything up in the top 200 meters of the track.
Well, he lost a big lot in the weather on Friday as well. It was make or break this third run, and I'm afraid it didn't make any difference at all to the lead. It did narrow the gap opened up.
First time I've seen those guys not break a track record when they should have at the start.
Now then, does that open up a silver medal opportunity for the rest that pursue, or what? This is Uge Zalms, 29-year-old former brakeman, the fireman with Intars Dambis behind him.
5:25 in both runs yesterday. He's going to have to get down in the teens to have any kind of chance.
He's a monster brakeman.
5:20, so it's better. Close to the teens. Good exit of zero, that hassle curve. As we call it, good velocity, speed, first speed trap. And this is where Friedrich just blew everybody away up here in curves 2, 3, and 4. He found a magic line that no one can match. And that's not the sled. That's up there, those speeds are slow. He's got some magic line carving his way through those curves.
Zalms is losing ground to Friedrich, but also vitally, he's losing ground to Oskars Melbardis. Melbardis 1500s in front already. The gap is growing. They were only 200s apart after 2 heats. This is going to be more like 1500
Speed
or 210s.
134.1. We're seeing some fast track here today.
Yes, we are. Okay, so he's now 1500s. No, 2500s. That's gone from 200s to 2500s.
Now, he went 16th yesterday. He was in that magic window where teams were, that were just, it was unbelievable that it's times that they were achieving. Third best time yesterday in the first run, 5th there. I don't know if this is going to hold up. Now look at the angle. Look at them hit at the same time and run. Look at his thighs, how close they are to the cowling. And we talk about the power step. Everybody's got a different power step getting into the sled here. Those 16th of an inch spikes on the bottom of their shoes. Now watch him hop in. Look at that. He 2 steps, 2 feet.
Yep.
Some people like to have that heel come up and hit him in the buttocks as they jump in over the bar.
Francesco Friedrich leads from Oskars Melbardis, Uge Zalms, 3 of 33 sleds down here in Winterberg. And next up, well, whatever else happens today, Friday proved that Yun Jung Won has what it takes. He's 4th in the World Championships.
And let me take your attention to the thighs of these guys. These are big men from the hips down. And they're going to get bigger. Ooh, little skid there. Push bar not down. Push bar finally comes down. A little tap out of curve 0. I'm sure that caused him to be a little distracted. That's why he tapped out of that first curve.
You can imagine how they might be a little tight being in a medal position in their first World Championships in this 2-man race, but
4th in the first run, 7th in the second run.
Talking to their coach last night, Malcolm Lloyd, he says, I don't care what happens today. We could be 2nd, we could be 8th. Depends on the weather, depends on all sorts of outside influences. I think he's right. What proved on Friday that he has got what it takes to be in medal contention.
He's in 3rd place now out of the lap.
Yes, he is. This is a good, tidy run as well, as we saw from both trips yesterday. 134.1, great speed.
It could be 3rd.
Of course, it is a BTC Latvia sled as well.
200th of a second. He's got himself in a medal position right now. Wow.
The coaches are loving that. 1 run to go, and he is leading the battle for the medals for 3rd place.
Little preview going into 2018. You could get a long-range bet down. Bet this guy wins a medal in 2018. And look at this mistake. Push bar still out. It's bothering him. He's pounding to get it down. He tapped the right wall. That cost him some time.
Well, he knew he didn't have time to do it before corner 0.
Look at the lines in Kreisel.
Great lines through Kreisel, no waving.
Look at the brakeman, perfectly buried in with his head barely off the spine of the driver, where it should be.
Young Wo Xiu's got great leg speed as well, the brakeman. Well, next up for Germany, Johannes Lochner. Now, he is a realistic medal shot as well. He was only 1100s out of 3rd, only 1300s out of silver.
Had the best start in the second run yesterday.
And this kid is going to be very big in the next few years.
5'10". Ooh, wow. This is some athlete, these 2 young kids. Joshua Blumel, 21-year-old, 20-year-old.
20-year-old. Bloom's first year on ice. Johannes Lochner was a brakeman a couple of years ago in the Junior Worlds. Started driving 2 seasons ago. His breakout year in World Cup racing this year.
His father, Rudy, his uncle, Rudy, won the World Championships in '91. The Olympic silver medal in Albertville. We keep saying that. This kid's got a great pedigree. His father used to be a rider on the Rudy Lochner sled.
He's already up to 3rd place, 100.8 kilometers an hour. That's only 2nd to Francesco Friedrich.
This is tiny line.
This is 2nd place. This is, oh, 2nd, 3rd. Going to be very close. He may not make 2nd at the line, but it's going to be within a few hundreds.
Wow.
0.75.
Second best time of the run.
100th behind Oskars Melbardis. That is a great run from Johannes Lochner. He was all smiles this morning, and he'll be even more all smiles now.
Wow, wow, just, okay, that caught my attention.
There's going to be some very excited guys in the Stuttgart Solitude Bob Club.
Well, we had a few glasses of wine with them, and they talked about the start, how important it was for to maintain the first or second best start. Look at his heels come up. He's got a lot of air time with the feet. And watch him jump in. Not with 2 feet like we saw the previous driver, the Korean. Now he comes up. Look how high his right heel gets up. See, he comes in 1 foot after the other. Different ways to enter the sled.
Francesco Friedrich leads, Oskars Melbardis, Johannes Lochner, second and third. 5 of our 33 sleds down, and here's one of the big surprises from the first heat. Junior world champion Richard Olsner, the wild card 20-year-old, in 6th place after the first 2 heats.
Yeah, he caught our attention, started 30th in the field, and ended up, what was it?
6th place.
Second place here in the first run, though.
He was, yeah, second fastest, slipped down with only a 15th
best second run, and a little inconsistent. Would you expect that out of a 20-year-old? How long have you been driving?
Started at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
And his brake man started at the beginning of the season.
Okay, you got 2 guys who never were bobsledding a year ago now. And they're at the top of the leaderboard after the first run. But you're falling back here.
Yeah, speed's not quite where it ought to be.
Was that some run that kid had in the first heat? Second best time, starting from the 30th position. I've never seen that.
Well, he had the window of opportunity. The weather was less nasty then than it was for some of the other early runners, but you've got to take the opportunities when they're given to you. Junior world champion gets a wild card. That's what Francesco Friedrich did 2 years ago and ended up winning the title.
But he had driven a couple years.
Yeah.
This kid had never driven a sled till October. And the Germans have gone young. Boy, have they gone young. And they've got a field of athletes, well, most of them with track and field athletic backgrounds. These lines on the exit of Kreisel, slingshot effect. Looks a little high there as I look at him, sitting in the sled.
Well, his first run scared the foundations of bobsledding. He was only 400s off the lead from 30th in the start draw. He was tied after day 1 with Rico Peter of Switzerland, the last man to win a 2-man gold medal in the World Cup. He won the last race in Sochi. European Championship silver medalist this year. Bro van der Zijde, his Dutch brakeman, 26-year-old powerhouse, shot putter, hammer thrower, 6'5" of him on the back.
I have one word to describe the brakeman: a stud. At 5:19 in the second run yesterday, they should go better. They should get 16 or 17. 17. Expected. Tap. Not good. But sit 63 flat. It's good velocity, and that's that beast on the back.
Yeah, big guys mean a lighter sled to push.
He can run.
Yes, he can.
How low Peter is. And these sleds, the Swiss have always done good, but not good when you hit before curve 4 like that.
Can't afford to hit stuff when you're trying to make up spots. He is ahead of Osner at the moment.
He needs to be absolutely perfect down here to try and catch the Korean.
95.1, second fastest behind Johannes Lochner, so he's going to close the gap. 100.7, that's quicker than the Korean sled as well.
Second down, he won't catch the Korean here, but he might put himself in position to get him on the 4th run.
Might move ahead of Uge Salems. He doesn't, but he's only 400s behind Salems, 5th to 6th.
So the Korean, Zalmas, and Peter are separated, those 3 sleds, by 600s. Boy, right now, Lochner's looking good, and there's only one more guy I think that can get him.
Well, now the battle is Lochner versus Melbardis for silver.
Little tap there. That cost him a lot. That cost him the 4th position for sure. 600s. Then down here, too, taps a little bit before the take-on. You see some spray come up. You see the back end of the sled come up. Little spray, not much in the back end.
So Rico Peter for Switzerland lying in 6th position, but now the standout Swiss driver of the last decade, Olympic silver medalist, 2007 world champion as brakeman behind Martin Annen in St. Moritz. Now 37-year-old Beat Hefty, and he'll be stinging to be behind his teammate.
20th. Yeah, 5:20 start the second run yesterday. Not good. Should be 16. 13. Now that's what we expect that to be at Hefty.
Well, with the wind gusting around, quite easy to lose 1/10 of a second just running into a bit of a headwind.
Yeah, you might be right there. Weather outside was frightful on
Yes,
Friday.
it was.
Not for us sitting in the booth, but they played havoc with the teams. This guy won the 3 previous races on this track. He had Hefty won. I had him down as my dark horse favorite to win the gold early in the season. And then when he won the first event after Christmas at Altenburg, and then the next event in Königssee, I thought he might be able to win out. He's gone into a little bit of a slump.
Good run here. He's in front of the Korean up to 4th place. Is he going to challenge for a medal in the final run?
Tap
little
there.
wild there.
Not the big speed.
No, 1:33.9, not too bad.
Oh boy, did he move up.
4th
Second
place.
best time of the run. And he is, you know, Lochner's a young kid. He's only got 1,300s down to Lochner, so a lot of pressure on the young kid.
And 1,400s behind Mel Barnes.
Yes.
Hefty is in the battle for silver.
Hefty's still there. Hefty's in the run.
But boy, he needs a great final trip. But after that one, you can imagine it coming.
Well, where's the back end of the sled here?
Yeah, got a little skid going, a little late with the pressure.
Didn't have 134-kilometer speed, and this is why. Watch the back end here. He hits, remember, you know, he should have had 134-kilometer speed. He got airborne. Look at the skid. That's what happened. He lost about a 2/10 of a kilometer, 5 or 6 hundredths. Every 100th of a second is so precious.
Just like dabbing your foot on the brakes or a bit of wheel spin in a car. Well, next up is our 3rd and last Latvian, Oskars Kybarmanis. All 3 Latvians in the top 9. Kybarmanis, 21-year-old decathlete. Bobsleigh 23-year-old American football player.
Yeah, this is about where he's been finishing all year. Unbelievable start times. But, unlike the other Latvians who were brakemen first and then became drivers, they took this kid right from the track and field background right to the front seat and driving the sled. So I think he's still finding his way into the sport. And when he does, it could be a Latvian sweep of one of these World Cups one of these days.
And at 21, he's got plenty of time on his side. He raced in the Youth Olympics 2 years ago, just turned 21. Now he's picked off Olsner, the junior world champion as well. He's up to 8th. Now he's slipped behind again.
Yeah, he doesn't have the driving skills down below. We know these sleds are fast. We've seen them. The Korean is driving this type of a sled, the Latvian BCT. So are the Belgian girls yesterday, and they post the best speeds of anybody. Look at him deck his head there at the bottom.
Well, you know, in a sport, the positions are decided by 100th. It's worth it.
And he got his head way down there that time.
55.73 slide leaves him 400s behind Richard Olsner, the junior world champion. They're 8th and 9th.
Boy, this race, as I look at that leaderboard, let's watch the start. Look at these athletes. Now, different, he doesn't have his arms locked in here. I mean, this is probably one of the best athletes in the front seat. If they did a little test, I bet you this guy would be right up there with anybody. Look at the, watch him hop in. 1 foot, that power step. Look at the left leg. Now watch the left leg come up together. You think that's easy getting in there? I mean, we just sit here take it for granted, but that's not easy.
Oskars Kybarmanis in 9th place. And next up, Maxim Andrianov. Well, he had a good day on his birthday on Friday, but it's a very downbeat Russian team today. The tragic death of coach Alexander Shevlovsky yesterday evening has really put the World Championships back into focus for them.
Good friend. Devastating. It's almost like we should have a moment of silence.
We had a minute's silence as the Parc Ferme closed this morning because he was a well-known face in bobsleigh circles.
I'm not going to say anything. I stood way down in his back.
Well, that was the fastest run of the competition so far for Maxim Andrianov. The Russians will concentrate on trying to do the best they possibly can here. Even more focus, I think, for their coach, Alexander Shevlovsky.
Great friend, great colleague, great sportsman. We will miss him dearly. Curve 10, which sets you up into the labyrinth three-corner combination that's very difficult at 80 miles an hour.
10 sleds down, and Francesco Friedrich, the reigning world champion, leads a very tight battle behind him. Melbardis, Lochner, Hefty, all dicing there with Yoon Jung-won of Korea to try and take the remaining medals. 23 sleds still to come. Next up is Alexei Stornev with Kirill Antuk behind him. Silver Junior World Championship medalist 2 years ago, Stornev.
Anton's sister, I keep saying, the 400 meters hurdles champion in London. All track and field background for every one of these Russian athletes. You bring them in for your headshots and you, okay, what's your sport? 100-meter sprint, 200-meter sprint, every one of them.
Some pretty fast units on the back of these Russian sleds, where he's behind, of course, because our first day leader, Francesco Friedrich, broke the track record. But he is 9th fastest start. He's slipping down. He had got in front of Maxim Andrianov, his teammate. They were very close together on time after the first heat, just separated by 100th. But he is losing ground to Andrianov.
Now remember, this track has been extraordinary with producing good times late in the heats, all week long in practice, in the women's race, in the men's race. We saw the first day of women's racing, we saw men's practice in the morning with 66 sleds, and then the women came out in the afternoon and they broke the track record was broken in each heat.
Yep.
So the track does have great time, great ice, but of course the weather is a little iffy today with some misty rain.
Well, the battle of the Russians, Stornev losing out to Andrianov, 100th behind after the first heat, and taps like that, John, has left him nearly 2 tenths back now.
That's one of the worst things you can do. Here, he's off too early. And then he gets in, doesn't look too bad, but no speed on the bottom. Russians with a heavy heart, though.
Yeah, really. Lamindine of Great Britain, 33-year-old Grenadier Guardsman from Manchester, with prime mover Simeon Williamson behind him. Williamson as deep as he is broad, and he's a 100-meter two-time Olympic sprinter. These guys in 12th place after the first heat, and they need to stay in the top 12. They really want to unlock some funding for the team.
I can't believe he's a 100-meter sprinter.
He looks like a linebacker.
He looks like a linebacker, a second row in rugby. I mean, he's a huge dude. And Lamont taking advantage of it. Pretty good start, 11th.
Good start, 11th. They were 11th as they sat down. They've moved up to 10th place now, leapfrogging both the Russians. And this is exactly the third run that they were looking for.
If he gets ahead of both these Russians, there's going to be some excitement down in that coach's box.
Good speed, still in the top 10.
Again, this is for a lot of funding out of the British Lottery Fund for the amateur sports. They have to finish a certain way, and that's not going to really improve his chances.
Needs to hold it together.
Oh, was he late?
A little wild there. 1:31.5 is 2 kilometers down, so he will end up in 12th at the line, 11th. So he's in front of Stornev. So he has moved up one.
He would have been up in front of. He might have challenged.
He would have been in front of Andrianov.
He would have been in the top
10. Yeah,
boy,
that would be.
He knows it too.
That sounds so much better. Well, one more heat to go.
Yeah, but that's a real. You won't see anybody else worse than this so far.
Oh, I think you may.
Up near the wood. Now he's got to steer off.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you don't feel good about this, and now he's like, oh, I got to get over to the take-on. Well, you got on too early. He hits the front end of that curve, and now he's really in trouble.
Well, there he's not even steering. That's just the. That's just what happens when you bounce off the end of corner 9. You just get pinballed down the track. Well, next up is our fourth chairman, and we're now going to start to see a few guys who are way out of place. Start draw number 6, Nico Walter. And that's where you'd expect to find him in any race in two-man, top half dozen. 13th after the first heat. He should be able to improve on that. He should be in the top 10 for heat 4.
5:28, he should be low 20s. 5:24 better. He was almost embarrassed yesterday, or 2 days ago. But the weather, I think, he was there when the wind gusts were coming around the track. There's no way he should be back in this position. He's medaled already.
Yeah, silver and a bronze in 2-man and golds in the 4-man.
Former luge athlete, crossed over.
Yeah, he was a 2-time junior world champion in doubles luge.
And he won a 4-man race this year, though. So he had a great breakout season. You know, I say Rico Peter probably beat him for the breakout season of the year. Speed's good.
Speed is good. He's up to 11th place now from 13th at the start.
He could pick off 2 or 3 more.
This could well be top 10. He's in 10th place at the moment. What's the speed at the bottom? There you go. There's the German speed on this track. 9th at the line, 10th at the line.
Picked up 3 places.
Yep, that's where he needs to be.
And I don't know if he's going to have a chance to catch.
He might get one more.
He could catch both. The 8th and 9th guys with the great run, and those guys have to falter a little bit, but not the world championships that Nico Walter wanted.
Well, the focus for him.
Look at his brakeman, the 6'7" Marco Hülkenberger. Watch these. If they show us this all the way, watch Marco Hülkenberger get in the sled with these long cleaver arms that he's got.
Yeah.
You know, these are 2 big men, 6'7", 6'2". Now, if they can get this all the way to the end, watch his arms come up over his head and outside the sled. He almost touches the ice. In with proficiency. Now watch these arms come up. Watch the arms. Watch these. Look at it. He almost touches the ice with him. He's so long. Great shot by our crew.
There's Nico Walter and Matthias Höpfner, one of the coaches. Next up, Nick Polonyata. Now, it wasn't a great day for Canada's Justin Cripps on Friday, but it was a great day for Nick Polonyata. 17th start draw. He was 12th fastest in the first heat, 13th fastest in the second. Ended up in 14th spot. 27-year-old Brian Barnett behind them, trying to get the push bar to lock up. Well, he may have to start on the handle then to hold it up.
What's the clock? Mechanical failure.
Lyndon Rush with his head in the sled.
You got to go. Oh my gosh.
Okay, clock is running down. Only 7 seconds left. He's pushing it on the cowl. Now that is old school.
So unbelievable. They had a 5:29 start in the second run. Remarkable to get a 5:29 with that type of. But now, can he block out of his mind what just happened and just do? I mean, Brian Barnett added on this team because Lascelles Brown is pushing for Justin Cripps, has really improved Nick Politano this week. But what happened right there was going to cost him.
Lots of drama for Nick Polonyata. And you're right, you've got to go from that aggression at the start to being an oasis of zen-like calm.
Just with that start.
Hold it together, Nick. Yeah. And he's outperformed any expectations, certainly. His rookie year started in Calgary. He's broken for Kaylee Humphries. He's only raced himself in 2 World Cups. Big skid there, breaking out of the back of the sled, robbing a little more speed.
3 or 4, 5 places. 4 places. 14th best time in a run.
Yeah. 56.42. That's about 3/10 slower than anybody we've seen so far.
5/10 slower. Nick, bad break, buddy. You were doing great. So he would have been. That cost him 900s at the start. 20, so that's 2,500s. 2,500s better would have put him.
And look at this, old school, the way they used to do it before.
He's never done this in
Adams.
his life.
No, only pushing them in the finish area.
I've never seen anybody have to do this. So what type of an athlete is he to adjust like that within 30 seconds and still do it, achieve? Look at his thighs.
And then to work out how to get in without the bar.
He could slip. He could very easily slip. Now watch how high he gets up. This is obviously an athlete to be able to do this. Hey, Nick, you got our award for,
for go-get-emness.
Yeah.
Wow. Nick Cunningham of the USA with Alex Harrison behind him. Monterey, California driver from Edmonds, Washington. 27-year-old Alex Harrison, the brakeman. 5:25
much
getaway.
better start. Another decathlete in the back, 6,500 points. Yeah, I think he's there 6,600. Second best decathlete point scorer in the field, next to the Thorsten Margus, #1 brakeman on the day. Cunningham, not bad. yesterday, but he was in that window of opportunity.
Yes, he was.
Didn't have very good starts.
Well, the weather was slightly less nasty when he went off 11th in the first heats, but 99.8, little slower than you'd expect. Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to pick off Nick Poloniato.
Yeah,
at the moment,
he will.
At the moment, he is in front of him. But I don't think he's going to get to Alexei Stornev of Russia. No, gets in front of Poloniato. Poloniato might be in trouble making the second heat now.
He's going to be right on the bubble. There's 4 or 5 guys going to catch him.
Yeah, well,
I think he's going to make it.
You got the likes of Justin Cripps and Stephen Holken coming. You know, we've already had 15 sleds down.
Chris Spring,
5 more spots.
Kasanov.
Yeah. You can pick 5 names out that could well be in front of him. Francesco Friedrich leads the junior and senior world champion 2 years ago, ahead of Oskars Melbardis and Johannes Lochner. 15 of our 33 sleds down in this third of 4 heats in Winterberg, Germany. And a little gritty, rainy, icy drizzle has stopped, but still gusting wind at the top could be a problem for Francis Leuk-Kosterg and Roman Heinrich. Both of them come from Olympic towns. Moutier just below La Plagne for the driver, and from Grenoble, the 68 Winter Games venue for the brakeman.
Not bad, 12th, then he slipped to 19th. He was one of the guys in that window of opportunity.
Yeah, in the first heat, start draw number 20 certainly didn't disadvantage him.
It's about 14 to 25, or 14 all the way to 30.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the track got faster. Everybody was shaking their heads.
Yeah, the weather, the kind of snow stopped and the wind dropped, I think, which is possibly as much as anything to do with it.
Now we got some sun peeking out. Looks like outside our broadcast booth, it's getting a little brighter out there.
I can almost hear the crack of thunder in the background as you say that. You're jinxing the weather.
Come on, me.
Okay, here we go. Still in 16th place. Now, is he going to catch Polon? No, he's behind Poloniato. Now, he could slump down the order as well.
He's going to be in trouble for making the cut.
Yeah. Speed's not where it needs to be. 131.7.
Yeah, he lost a lot.
4500s, 4300s behind
Max
Nick Poloniato.
Robert on the right, Bruno Manjot on the left, the Olympic bronze medalist from Nagano in '98.
They look a lot less happy than they did when he was 12th in the first heat.
They were really happy in that first run.
Yeah.
There was a lot of happy teams, like the French in that first run. Now watch how high he gets up over here. Now look, he goes into a different technique.
He's got that kind of long jumper paddling in the air step going there, hasn't he?
Brakeman, boy, his brakeman ran a long ways. It's dangerous when you get out of those start grooves. Watch the back end of the sled.
Like in the race suits. Very 1980s, 90s look to them.
Skid, yeah. Great pictures.
So 20 sleds, 16 sleds down. 17th after the first day of competition. The top Russian driver, Alexander Kasyanov, with Alexei Pushkarev behind. Start draw number 8. They were the least advantageous of the 3 Russian sleds at the start. Oh, bumps the wall.
Well, I expect him to pick off a couple people here. You know, he doesn't belong. He was in the 22nd or 23rd position at the end of the first run.
Well, their starts were awful. 24th, 25th in the 2 starts. Here, they've got a 14th best start, so he clearly did not run into wind today like he did on Friday.
Speed's good for this position. Great driver, better in the 4-man.
Yeah, there's going to be a few drivers, I think, after today who are looking at the 4-man for a bit of redemption, and Kasyanov's going to be one of them. He may end up as being the worst Russian here.
Well, remember, this is the guy who finished 4th in both the 2-man and the 4-man at the Winter Olympic Games last year in Sochi.
Yeah.
Missing an Olympic medal to Holcomb in both disciplines by 000ths of a second.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad. He's not that bad a driver.
He's not
that
that bad a
down
driver.
at the tail end of the top 20.
He definitely is weather-related where he is, but he moved up only 1, but he's very close, 200ths from Poloniato, and I got to believe he's going to be right on the bubble for making the cut.
Yeah. Well, that was the 13th fastest trip, so it wasn't top 5, top 6 stuff.
No, but he's a 9th, 10th place 2-man driver.
Yeah.
Uses the 2-man as a warm-up for the 4-man, but in Sochi last year, only 300ths out of the bronze medal position. As likable a guy as you're going to find.
Maciej Lucia, Poland now, 18th place. From here on down, really, we're talking about making the cut for the final run. Just like in the golf majors, you make the cut for the final day, the final round.
Moving day. We like to say the third heat of bobsledding, like the third heat in a PGA Tour event.
These guys starting 26 out of the field of 33. They were 16th fastest in their first heat. And they put in a 20th fastest run in the second, so good consistency. They need another 15th or 16th fastest time in this third run to guarantee that final heat.
29, very good exit out of 0. Now, Poland, you think, not a bobsled nation. Their coach, Andre, told me that there was 43 Polish teams at a natural ice track in Poland in 1963, his first year as an athlete bobsledding in Poland. And it's hard to believe. Yeah. 43 too, man. Of course, that was when behind the Iron Curtain then too. But so Poland has a tradition in the sport for a long time. The sun is coming out. Pretty shocking.
Well, again, now this is going to hopefully or potentially be advantageous to the later sliders. We might see some more domino falling effects. Luthi is up to 17th place. So that puts in front of Loïc Kosterg of France, and it's dog-eat-dog now. You're really clawing your way up the leaderboard.
265, he's tied. Him and Kosterg are tied to the 100. Wow. That could be the bubble place right there. That could be those. That means we'll have 21 sleds in the final.
Or not.
If they're the 20, if they're tied for 19th place,
well, if they're tied,
20th place,
they're tied in 20th
place, we'll have 21
sleds.
Curve 10. We look at the error. This is when it's 80 miles an hour. Look how low he gets here, though. Now watch the sled drift back up. Oh, that's not good. He's up here probably the highest line on the exit of the curve that exists, and almost like that, it's weightlessness up there. And then that sets you up for this 11, 12, 13. Look at the heads moving left to right. That's because probably late off that 10 curve.
Well, the Poles currently tied for 17th with the French. Next up, we have a triumvirate of top 10 finishers, guaranteed on any other day. Chris Spring, Derek Clark for Canada first up, the Aussie, formerly a cricketer. And he'll be enjoying the Cricket World Cup when he gets a bit of time away from the track. 5:22 start yesterday, or Friday, 5:36 and 5:30. Do you think they were running into the headwind?
Yeah, they ran 15th, though. They were in that window of opportunity, so I don't understand history. But, of course, the winds came in on some sleds, Gus, and others it did not.
It's just a lottery. 27th fastest in the first heat, 17th fastest in the second. 93.9, speeds are still where we need them to be. He's up to 18th. So he's in front of Kosterg and Luthi.
Good, that's a good line. Watch the high line, perfect. See if he gets off 11, 12, 13 without hitting out of this curve.
99.4, we're nearly there. 131.8, that's what he needs. And he is
16th best time, 17th.
17th at the line in front of France and Poland.
Yeah, that's going to put him in, I bet. That's going to put him in, for sure.
Well, I don't
Cripps
know.
and Holcomb coming. That's going to put him in. There's only two more guys, I believe, that can get in the top 20 on this list.
Well, there's the potential for Benny Meyer of Austria, Cody Basque of the USA, maybe.
I heard about what Benny Meyer's doing today. He's just taking four-man lines. Look at the height Chris Spring gets getting in. Look at his hands come off the push bar. Look, he's airborne there. Look at this.
Dropping in.
That's a different technique. Now he settles himself in. Okay, everybody's got a different strategy of getting in this bathtub.
There's a great clip. Just the driver loads in super slow-mo. There must be 33 different ways of doing it, like Paul Simon almost said.
Pictures.
Justin Cripps of Canada with Lascelles Brown behind him. King will be very unimpressed if they don't get a final run. They were 20th after day one. They must move up.
They were 30th.
Well, after the first heat, they were 30th. They moved up to 20th. So Cripps just said, whatever will be,
5:13.
5:13. There you go.
That's what Lascelles Brown, the king, the Jamaican, who came to Canada after the 2002 games. Boy, does he have a career. Talk about owning some track records at the start.
His medal haul with Pierre Luders, and then with Justin Cripps and Lyndon Rush. 20th, up to 18th place now. So they're now 17th on split times ahead of Chris Spring. Now he's digging himself a nice berth in the final run.
Well deserved too. He drew one. That story, you could draw according to your World Cup.
Whoa. Down to 20th on the splits. 99.1 kilometers an hour. He's at the tail of the field. 131.5. Is he going to pick off anybody at the line? 20th place.
I don't think
60.
that's...
He's still in 20th.
He's in 20th.
200s behind
correct.
the Polish team.
Doesn't matter. 200s, he could
Behind
be out of
both
the
of
run.
us. 200s behind the Polish and French.
Next up is Holcomb. Olympic champion, world champion Stephen Holcomb.
I'm very surprised. Curve 9 looked like he was real rough.
This might be the end of the day for Justin Cripps. Very high on the exit. Pressure taking him right up when he wanted to be coming down.
Perplexed. Remember, he drew #1 in the race by choice. He went up. No one drew #1 in his 7th position in World Cup. He went up. One was available. He took it.
20 sleds down, 13 still to go as we fight to make the cut. Francesco Friedrich is relaxed. No one else is. Stephen Holcomb of the USA, the 2012 two-man world champion, in 21st place, and now desperately striving to make the cut for the final heat.
5:43 yesterday in the second run, 5:25. So if there's anybody who was affected by a wind gust, this guy was right here.
It would be the first time in his career that we've seen that, and probably won't be the last.
That second run yesterday.
24th fastest. Well, if you lose a 10th at the top, you're going to lose 3/10 at the bottom.
But for the guy who won the World Championships just a couple years ago, an Olympic medal last year, to have the 28th best start time, you know, he doesn't have great starts all season, but that was definitely wind gust related.
But he's still not in the race. 21st on the splits. Now he's up on Cripps. That's where Cripps' speed went away. 100.3 kilometers an hour is the best we've seen in a dozen sleds from Holcomb. He needs 132, 133.3.
Big speed.
Very good. Holcomb is in the race. Cripps is out. That's it. Done.
10th best time of the run. Wow.
Cripps is out.
Wow. Justin Cripps, that's just shocking to me. He missed the cut by 200ths of a second.
Yep.
Holcomb, got to give him credit. Drove himself into the field, into the race in the 4th run with a bottom half blistering lines. Look, he stays below those high lines there. And the speed on the bottom part of the track, he might have the best speed in the last 15 sleds.
Yeah.
10th best, starting 21st, 10th best time of the run. And this is where he was in practice all week.
First 4 sleds were in the 34s. No one else has been quicker. So now then, it's going to be a real tough ask for Benny Meyer. First time out in this new sled, borrowed sled from the Solitude Stuttgart Bob Club. The 20-year-old Austrian, 22nd after the first 2 heats. Well, he was 17th fastest in the first, so he can do it.
His coach, Franz Joseph Hoffman, who rode with him in the car last night, he said, Benny is driving 4-man lines. They can't get a great result, so he had 6 practice runs. He's going to have another run today, or 4 runs in the race, another run today in the team competition, and then he's going to have his 6 practice runs in 4-man. He says he's doing everything for the 4-man, and he did finish top 10 3 different times in 4-man this year.
Well, still in 22nd place, not making the cut at the moment unless he finds the afterburners somewhere down this track.
Benny Meyer, another one of these young 20-year-old guns that are in competition. This sled is on loan from the Stuttgart Bobsleigh Club. It was Johannes Lochner's. Speed way off.
Yep, he's not going to make the cut at the moment. On the bubble, joint 19th on Lloyd Kosberg and Matthias Luthi for France and Poland. The Austrians, yep, that's their 2-man race done. As you say, team competition later on starts at 3 this afternoon. So he'll get a little bit more ice time and aim to go big in the 4-man race next weekend. A lot of action still to come in this track.
Yeah, bottom part of the track looked a little late. 11 to 12, 13, and then in 14. Skid there, not bad. Another young gun in the sport. A couple more years. Keep your eyes on him.
See him competing with his brother in the team race. His brother's a skeleton slider. For Monaco, the first ever Monegasque to win an Olympic medal, Rudy Rinaldi took bronze in the Youth Olympic Games in Eagles a couple of seasons ago. Now just 21 years old with Boris Vain, his brakeman, 21 years young as well.
Big boy in the back.
Yeah, and some good coaching knowledge as well.
Look at the size of this guy in the back. Look at him run. Look at his gait. 19th in the first, 27th in the second.
Yeah, very loose run in the second heat.
Well, he was in that window of opportunity. He took advantage of it. The first run, he beat Holcomb. Beat Cripps. Of course, everybody beat Cripps because he drew number 1. Cripps didn't draw number 1, but stayed in 7th. Cripps probably be in 13th or 14th place right now.
Well, the guy who drew number 2, Oscar Melbardis, was 7th fastest after the first heat, but nobody could understand why one sled difference could make a 0.3 of a second difference in the runs.
Give 30 hundredths more to Cripps.
It's just that.
30 hundredths more to Cripps, and he's up in 16th position right now. So he lost 30 hundredths in that first round. Monegasque drivers, a little loose there, 9 to 10. Oh, a little loose down there, 13 to 14 too. Speed's not bad. 23rd best start, 23rd best finish. Bruno Manjon on the right.
Patrice Savelle in the dark hat, last man to drive for Monaco.
Who finished 4th in the World Championships for Monaco in 2004. So Monaco has had some success in the sport, including he won the first ever Monaco medal in a World Cup.
And of course, they at one stage had Lascelles Brown on the back of the Monaco sleds as well. Yeah, trying to get those shoulders in.
That's not the way to do it, okay? There's some, you saw Marco Hülkenberger, who's about his size, a little taller than him, very efficient. And of course, down here on the bottom, it's the driver. It's a little late on 13. Great. Yeah. 700 frames per second, I think, in slow-mo's are.
Next up, one of the youngest drivers in the field, just 20 years old, Cody Basque for the USA. Aaron Victorian behind him, a former decathlete for American Samoa and pro surfer. 61.8. Not bad velocity out of the first corner.
Cody, another young gun in the sport.
First World Championships as a driver for him. He made his full World Cup season debut this year.
But he went to the World Championships as the USA 3 and 4 man bobsledding as a crewman in 2011.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Now he came to St. Moritz. Yeah. Oh, huge skid in real trouble in 10.
Doesn't look like he's been able to cut it.
No, well, he hasn't had a top 20 run. 26th and 22nd on the first day. Oh, and that was as wild as you like.
24th, 24th. That wasn't smooth.
Nope, that was the run. He really didn't want to appear on race day. That's one of those loose first training runs that sometimes comes out of you. So Cody Basque in 24th spot.
Curve 9, look at him low he is. Now centrifugal force brings him back up near the wood. Now he's lost on 2 runners. And this is what causes the skid. He tried to steer away from it, and now he's got a little
tank slapper going. Yeah.
And then here in the end, this is the first sled we've seen. We've seen a lot of sleds crash out here in former years. This sled is the first sled of the weekend we've seen that close to crashing.
And with the prime unit, Aaron Victorian, almost thrown out of the saddle there. Yikes.
Cody, great season for you, though.
Yes, it is. Well, for everybody else now, this is a real struggle to desperately try and make the top 20. Jurjan Wesseling, the 25-year-old rookie from Amsterdam. 27-year-old Igor Brink, his brakeman. First World Championships for them, and for them it is all about the experience.
28th, 23rd. Start. 25, 35.
going to need to improve to about a 16th best run in the heats to try and get into the top 20. The gaps now are starting to really grow. He's half a second out of the top 20 after 2 heats.
Tap there, 3 to 4. He can't do that. Cannot do that. But again, this is a development driver. You know, a lot of enthusiasm, good coaching, good equipment. We're on the home track for the Dutch. Dutch have done very well on this track, especially women's bias. House, I think, won a World Cup medal on this track at least once. Saw her earlier in the week. Speed not bad, but this will not put him in the field. 24th best time, 25th place.
Same time, exactly to the 100th as Cody Bascu, who just preceded him down the track.
Cody gets the award for the
wild ride of the day so far, yeah. The Bucking Bronco Award. The Dutch girls down there helping with the guys' sled, as the guys were with the women's sled on Thursday and Saturday's racing.
That's just a mistake he cannot make, and he won't. The next couple times we see him here, he won't make that type of mistake. He'll be much more experienced.
He's getting run over by the girls with the sled.
Superman shirt on underneath.
Francesco Frujic, Oskar Melbardis, Johannes Lochner battling for the medals with Beat Hefti and Yoon Jung-won of Korea, as we have got 25 of our 33 sleds down. Battle for position outside the top 20 features 22-year-old Ollie Bidulph, Jordan Smallin, the 21-year-old 400-meter hurdler behind him. Bidulph from Taunton in Somerset, you wouldn't know it, he is a bench press beast by all accounts. They call him Triple B. Bench beast Bidulph. Well, I said I'd call him Lucky Legs. Lucky
I think he's got to get some more quad size. Just take a look, put him next to the Koreans. I bet you the Koreans have 2 of his thighs, and that's one of the Koreans.
Chris Woolley says he's got lots of potential, but he is one of Woolley's summer projects. Beef up Bidulph.
I like the way he sits in the sled. His eyes are barely above the talon.
Nice smooth run so far. Good speed as well.
We'll see him in the team competition.
He could move up a couple of spaces here. He'd be very happy with that. Needs to keep it tidy below 9. Little wayward into corner 10. Down at the bottom where it gets very fast. The corners all come at you. 129.3. I don't think that's going to push him up a spot.
We will not see him in the team competition. So only one team in there for Britain. It'll be Lamont Dean, who'll be the driver of the 2-man sled.
So his first World Championships as a driver is complete. Ollie Bidulph, Jordan Smallin behind him. And they will be looking to next weekend's 4-man competition now.
Crossover to hit in there like that is, boy. Of course, he's going a second faster than he did on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, they had no time to practice. They had some time to watch video, but they're watching video. They were 1 second slower. Everybody's 1 second faster today, if not more.
That doesn't tell you how it's going to feel. It only tells you what it looks like, and that's very different. So Ollie Bidulph in 26th place, and next up is from the Czech Republic, the younger of our 2, least experienced of our 2 Czechs, Radek Matusek, just 25 years old.
The new brakeman on
yep.
that he had the other day. Looks like he can run well.
Dominic Succi, 27 years old.
Look how low he is in the sled.
Yeah.
Succi had a Vibro, Jet 1 pilot. Very surprising to get Vibro's back in the position he is. He comes up with 2 sleds.
Well, not a bad first day for Radek Matusek. 21st in the second heat brought him up from 32nd and almost last up to 27th place. If he can produce a little more speed down at the bottom, keep it tidy, and that's where the younger drivers are struggling, John. Down to the Kreisel, it's all fairly straightforward, but it's when it comes at you really thick and fast here that they're all struggling to get the line right onto 9, and then they suffer all the way down.
Well, development driver. First time we've seen him in the World Championships. We've seen a lot more of him. The Czechs used to have a beautiful natural track. Czechoslovakia back in the 50s.
He moves up in front of Ollie Bidulph, so he's done what he intended to do, which is improve.
One spot. and he's not. He's 20 hundredths of the Dutch, but that's it. His day is over. His world championships, his rookie world championships is over. Look how high he is above those blue lines. You should straddle those lines. But that's the precision that you learn. You don't learn in 20 or 30 or 40 trips in your first year. You learn it over a period of time. This is the exit of the pivotal part of the track. Kreisel.
So the team from the Czech Republic move one up. Now what about the Italians? This is the number 2 driver, Simone Fontana, Constantino Ughi. And Simone Bertazzo had to pull out of the 2-man race. He's got a sciatic nerve problem. Speaking to Coach Graham Richardson this morning, he said he's much better. There'll be another 3 or 4 days of pummeling from Gordon Bosworth, the physio, to try and make sure he can make the 4-man race. Well, Fontana, the Italian 2-man champion, ahead of Bertazzo.
21 in the first run, 31 in the second.
Yeah. And that's the consistency that comes with age and experience.
He had a red Ferrari sled. These were built for 2010 games. Quiet.
Fontana has the potential to move up a couple of spots.
Not like that, though. It happened before the crash.
Wait a minute, has the commentator's curse moved from you to me overnight? I didn't notice that.
You said that he's sideways. Kreisel's late here.
Well,
steer more, too much steering through there, 9, but it's, you know, he's smooth here. As soon as I say that, he bangs into the wall.
Good speed, though, 131s. We haven't seen that for a few sleds.
26th best time.
He moves up in front of Ollie Biddulph as well.
100th, though, behind the Czech. That little tap down there between 13 and 14, that cost him that place. He moved up 2 places.
He could indeed.
First World Championships for Simone. This is into Kreisel. This might have cost him 20 hundredths. He could have moved up 2 or 3 places without that mistake right there. And this down in the bottom part of the track late there, and look at the violence there with the sled hitting a couple times and then the exit going uphill on the finish curve. Simone, his first World Championships completed.
2 Italian Air Force men. Next up from the Czech Republic, 33-year-old Jan Verber with new boy Jakub Nosek. First year on the team for the 25-year-old. He's added a little bit of speed. They were 13th and 15th best starters in the first day of action.
Really surprised he's back here in this 23rd, 29th positions.
I think he is too.
Very surprised. This is a very good driver. This is a top 10 driver in the format.
And again, look at the start. 12 fastest in the field, 5:24.
This is the best start, worst finish team in the field. If you look at it from 12 to 29th, it's 17 different. Holcomb's the other way around. Holcomb's got like the 24th start, and he had the 10th best time of this run.
Well, this guy normally outperforms his equipment, but this weekend it's just not been his time. 92 kilometers an hour. That is the slowest speed we have seen. Whatever else, the sled is not going fast.
Runners.
98.2. That's the lowest speed we've seen from anybody.
He shouldn't be back behind his teammate, that's for sure. His teammate's a brand new rookie. This is a couple-time Olympic driver right here.
Yeah.
He's so slow around the finish. It was almost like a tourist spot ride. Milanovic on the right, former European champion in 2007 for the Czech Republic.
I'm not sure that. I think there's been a lot of head scratching there. I'm not sure there was too much wrong driving-wise with that. The thing was just going slow.
Yeah. So.
No speed in a straight line.
Start, you know, not bad. Look at the brakeman's. I think he's got his head bent too far forward. And there's a lot of air time in these feet coming up and down for Jan Vibra. Watch him jump in. There's quick. He didn't get any height. He got in a little quicker. Look at the arms come up and in. This is a well-trained brakeman. Jan, seeing the foreman.
Yeah. He'll be hoping for a little better there, I think. Well, next up, Vuk Radjanovic, the 31-year-old from Belgrade. 6'9", Alexander Bundalo behind him.
No, I don't think this is. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it. This looks like it because that the break the change.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, yeah, they got it listed on the wrong. That's not the 6'9" guy that was usually with. Tell.
Well, that was a very late change then, because only got the start list an hour ago.
Luke's been around a long time. Father, driver of the Sarajevo Olympics for Yugoslavia. On tour. Or something in the World Cup someplace, and I think it was a little red lease. The Germans popped the set of runners still.
Speed's not bad. Little tidier run than he had before. He was 23rd and then 30th in the second run. That's only the 30th fastest run again.
Boris on the left. Luke, who's been around for almost 10 years now, got at least 2 Olympics, maybe 3.
30th place all the way from start to finish. And at the moment, it looks as though our tie for 19th, Lloyd Kosterg and Matthias Luthi, will be the final sliders in the last heat. Francesco Friedrich, the leader, will go last of all in Heat 4 to defend his 2-man world title.
Can't believe it, the 21st ranked guy, Justin Cripps, missed the cut by 200ths.
Yep. Well, next up is the second Korean sled, Jung-Yong Kim, 27-year-old graduate student from Seoul. His 25-year-old brakeman started in the sport with the Korean team 3 years ago. So they're starting to really work together as a unit. But they do not have the speed of the #1 guy.
Start time has a lot to do with it. The #1 guy's got a top 4 start. This is a 25th place start, 5:31.
Yeah, Yoon Jung-won started 5:16.
Yeah, 1500, that's 45 at the bottom. 45 at the bottom over 4 heats. Almost 2 seconds. You take 2 seconds off of his time, and he's down in the top 10. So it's the start, it's the drive, it's the material, and real-time luck of the draw.
Yep.
So with Justin Cripps, you got a little luck once in a while, and Justin.
Well, with the crazy day we had Friday, yeah.
Might have cost a chance for Bardas to win the World Championship too.
There was a few throwing snake eyes on Friday.
Hyundai sled sounds pretty quiet.
130.5 at the bottom. He stays 31st spot out of our 33 sleds. 2 more to come. Well, he's going to turn his attentions now to 4-man weekend next weekend.
Appreciative crowd. A bunch of Korean Olympic officials here today.
Yeah, they're here the whole fortnight to try and work out exactly how this all works and what they need to be looking at, what they need to be doing. And John, I think they're looking as much away from the track at what else has been laid on for the fans and for the teams around Winterberg.
Especially here. They've done a great job here with the temporary bleachers, and it's a beautiful facility.
Bands playing between the heats and all sorts of stuff going on in the town centre. Penultimate sled in this third heat is Dorian Grigori of Romania, 29-year-old from Bucharest. The Romanians go in the team competition as well today, as they have a men and women's team and male and female skeleton sliders.
Sun's out.
Sun's out, guns out. 5:41 getaway. That's the slowest we've seen so far.
But the speed, 62 kilometers, wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't at all.
It's got a good sprint power step into the sled. This might be the oldest sled in the field.
There's a couple vying for that. There's a few fairly antediluvian Dresdens going down. 92.4 kilometers an hour is 57.5 miles an hour. 60.6 on the exit. Is he going to pick off Kim of Korea? 130.3 at the bottom. No, he's not. So So he will end up 32nd in the run. Paul Niago clearly still recovering from yesterday evening's celebration of the girls finishing in 9th place in the World Championships. Not there in the leaders box.
Well, if there's any Romanian out there that got a little extra cash, give these guys a brand new piece of equipment, they would not be back in 30th place. They'd be up there challenging for a top 20 easily.
Well, even the new sled the girls are driving is an ex-Andre Langer sled. One of his last from 2006. You go, oh, right, okay, a Langer sled from... Well, hang on a minute. Well, that's already 8 years old, and to them it feels like the newest, fastest thing ever. So finally, 29-year-old schoolteacher from Croatia, Drazen Silic, with new to the team, 24-year-old Mate Metsilic. Silic for a long time was on the back of the format of Ivan Sola. Sola acting now as he was then when he was driving as coach, fundraiser, driver, athlete, bottle washer.
Does it all.
568s in their first 2 starts. Can they find a little more for their final 2-man run? Again, look at the way that Metsilic hurls himself into the sled. 571 didn't make the difference he was hoping for.
Speed 2 kilometers down to the top teams in the first 100 meters. That's about start. That's about athleticism. It's coaching. You know, there's a technique. I mean, if you go out and try and learn how to shoot a basketball, it's going to take you a few years to figure it out. Same thing with pushing a bobsled. It's just not just athleticism. There's a lot of technique involved.
86.9, 55.9 miles an hour. First sled not to break the 56-mile-an-hour barrier. First sled under 58 there. Down at the bottom. They'll be doing well to be in the 130s.
127, 128,
124.3, still 77.5 miles an hour. We're talking about how slow that is on sheet ice.
So
well, again, it's all about the learning experience. They wouldn't have been expecting necessarily to make the cut.
Look at the crowd. Give them a hand. They appreciate their bobsledders here in this town. They've been sliding here since 1910 on this hill. Refrigerated track in 1977. And a lot of great tradition.
Yeah.
They love their sport.
They know what it takes to be a bobsledder. It's all about the nitty-gritty. Nobody's in it for the money. They're all in it for the love. So, one heat, 55 odd seconds away, perhaps, from retaining his 2-man world championship, Francesco Friedrich, with Torsten Margis behind him, the 24-year-old who came in as a junior world champion and blew the field away in St. Moritz, is on course to make it back-to-back titles. With the big man, Torsten Margis, alongside him, they have a great opportunity. But the battle behind, Melbardis, Lochner, Hefty, Wan maybe, and Zalims all battling for medals, and maybe Rico Peder's not out of the equation either. Further on down, for some, it's about survival. Nick Cunningham, Nick Poliniato, Stephen Holcomb, all trying to move up the order. And outside the top 20 from Justin Cripps on down,
unbelievable.
They will be on the side, joining the crowd, watching, or having a Glühwein and drowning their sorrows. 33 starters cut to 20 for our 4th and final heat here in Winterberg. And that comes up, starting first sled at 12:30 local time. That's 11:30 GMT. Join John Morgan and me, Martin Haven, for the decider in the BMW FIBT 2-man bobsleigh World Championships here in Winterberg.